Come onto your back and squeeze the knee towards your chest. Give them a big hug. You may want to balance from side to side. Just release the tension from the lower back. If you want to stay still, that's fine. And very nicely release the knees. Bring your arms onto the floor, palm onto the floor here, and bring the knee towards the right. So it's a gentle twist position. You may want to put your right hand onto the left knee and looking towards the left. Here you breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Just let go of everything. Surrender. Release the pose, bring the left knee and the right toward the sky and bring them toward the left. Bring the left hand onto the right knee and looking toward the right. Again, connect with the breath. Breathe in through the nose and exhale through the nose. Connect with the noise outside. Acknowledge them. Surrender. Let go of everything. Release the pose, bring the right and the left knee toward the sky. And very nicely come into a happy baby pose. So you may want to bring the knee towards your armpit. So you bend the knee, the sole of the feet parallel to the sky. You grab the feet on the outside. Make sure that the feet are really towards the sky, so the sole of the feet parallel. Here you may want to balance from side to side very gently, or you may want to stay into that pose. and very nicely release. Bring both feet onto the floor. You're going to come into a banana pose. So make sure that you're in the middle of the mat. Bring both feet onto the right corner of the mat. And when you bring your arm along above the head, bring both arms on the right side of the mat. So you should more or less feel that you are stretching on the left side. And again, that's a gentle pose. Feel the rise and the fall of the abdominal space. Feel the gentle stretch on the left side. There is nothing wrong by coming out of the pose and coming in again if you don't feel comfortable. Bring awareness to the breath. If you have any thought coming into the mind, acknowledge them and let them go. It is totally normal to have thoughts coming regularly onto the mind. Don't try to stop them, just acknowledge them. You will have time to think and go back to it later on at the end of that practice or later on during the day. Very nicely release the pose. Again, stretch your body all along, arms above the head. This time bring the legs to on the left corner of the mat. And again, your arms on the left corner of the mat. So you should probably look like a banana shape pose, so slightly curved. You should feel a stretch on the right of your body through the side, from the armpits all the way down to the hips. That's a nice stretch, gentle stretch. Very nicely start to come out of the pose. Bring the body in alignment with the mat. And very gently bend the knee. And come to the left or the right side, it doesn't matter. And come to a sitting position here. If you have any block, you may actually use a block or a big book, or why not a pillow. We're gonna come into a shoelace position, and you have two options here. The first one, you lay on your back. Bring the knee towards the chest, and then you bring the left leg on top of the right leg. You grab the ankles with your hands, and basically you bring the ankles towards the sitting bone. The second option, same thing but sitting down. So you bend the left leg and you bring the heel towards the right sitting bone, and then you put the right leg on top of it. So basically the knee are in line. Here it's quite nice to have a block to actually rest your forehead onto, but you don't have to. Simply can hold the pose with your hand flat onto the floor. At this stage, sink into the pose. Just let the gravity do the rest. Let the muscle release any tension. Let them cry. Let them stretch. Release any tension and stress. Very nicely start to come out of the pose. So very slowly bring the forehead off the knee or maybe the block here. If you've been lying onto the floor, you might just want to swap sides. So meaning that the right leg will come on top of the left. And you're going to bring the heel toward the sitting bone. If you've been sitting, you're going to bring the feet as wide as the mat. And you're just going to swap your knee from side to side, like a windscreen. Very nice. A chill pose. Very nicely, we're going to prepare for the next, or for the other side. So again, sitting onto the floor. You're going to bring your right heel towards the left sitting bone and the left leg on top of the right, so both knees are in line. It's not really a comfortable pose, so please feel free to come out of the pose very nicely by bringing the body upright, so the spine toward the sky, and come back into the pose whenever you feel like it. You not necessarily need the block. You may want to rest maybe onto the knees, just slowly pushing the hand onto the floor here. And again, going back to the breath. Don't hesitate to adjust the pose if you don't feel comfortable, if you are using a block. It's important to feel comfortable in order to sink deeper into that pose. And very nicely come out of to the pose, bring the forehead off the mat here. If you are lying onto the floor, stay onto the floor. If you are sitting down, just put your feet as wide as the mat and balance the knee from side to side. Very nicely and slowly. If you are just onto the floor, come back into normal position, bring the knee onto the mat here. So very nicely come out. And come into a child pose. So the knee as wide as the mat. Bring the hips towards the heel here. So sitting bone touching the heel and arms towards the front, forehead towards the floor. And sink onto the pose. Feel the abdominal space rising and falling. Very nicely. You're gonna start to come out of the pose. Bring your forehead off the floor. And I'm gonna come into a swan position. So bring the right knee in between your hands, and you might find the heel in front of the groin, and this is fine. You may adjust this pose to see if you are okay or not. And then once you've done that, you may want to keep the knee between your hands, so hand flat onto the floor, or you may want to go deeper into the pose where you bring your hand, you start to walk your hand towards the front here until maybe you have your head on your forehead onto the floor. Although that this is a gentle pose, try not to have your hips falling onto the right here. So just adjust very slowly. You really want to have your hips parallel to the floor. So that may be a good idea to actually just readjust the pose from time to time. And again, start to come out of the pose, bring the forehead off the floor. We're gonna swap the side here. So you might want to do it gently. This time coming back into a tabletop, and very nicely bring the left knee between your hands. And again, you may find the left heel just in front of the groin, and this is fine. And readjust again. You can have your forehead onto the floor or onto your forearm, whatever you prefer. And you don't have to have your forehead onto the floor. You may want to keep your hand onto the floor and arms straight. Try not to sink the head on into the shoulder here. Come out of the pose very nicely. Bring your forehead off the floor, pushing the floor away. Come into a tabletop where you have the knee as wide as the mat, heel together. And come into a child pose. So you may want to walk the hands toward the front and have the forehead onto the floor. Really pushing the sitting bone toward the heel here. You may want to readjust, that's fine. And very nicely, again, start to come out of the pose, release the pose. And at this time, you're going to start to bring your back onto the floor here. You're going to bring your sole of the feet together and knee onto each side. So that's a butterfly position. You may want to have your hand onto the floor and the palm of the hand towards the sky. Open the chest. Close the eyes very nicely. Come out of the pose if you wish, or you can stay into it, or you can come into a Shavasana, where you drop the feet onto the side, so slightly the legs apart, and again the arms onto the floor. You will have the palm of the hands towards the sky, and the top of the hands touching the floor here. Open the shoulder, dropping your breath, feeling your body sinking onto the floor. Connecting with the breath, with the rise and fall of the abdominal space. You can stay in that pose as long as you wish. Connecting with the surrounding. If at any point you want to come out of the pose, very slowly bring the knee toward the chest, and when you are ready, come into a sitting position. Try to have the eyes closed, and if you wish to stay in Shavasana, stay as long as you want.